Eli Turner liked quiet nights. After long shifts repairing satellite panels, he always climbed to the old observation deck above the town. It was a forgotten metal platform, half rusted, but it had a clear view of the sky. He felt calm there. The world felt simple. He could breathe. That night the air was colder than usual and the sky looked strange. The stars shimmered in patterns he had never seen before. Eli frowned and leaned on the railing. Something in the darkness was flickering. Not like a plane, not like a satellite, more like a spark that couldn't decide if it wanted to exist or fade. As he watched, the spark widened. The air around it twisted, bending the stars out of shape. The platform vibrated softly under his feet, and the hair on his arms stood up. Eli took a careful step back. A ring of pale blue light formed above him, spinning slowly like a floating halo. It hummed gently, almost like a lullaby. Then he saw her. A small figure floated down from the circle, her feet barely touching the air. Her body glowed faintly. Her silver-white hair drifted around her shoulders like threads of moonlight. Her eyes, large and violet, were filled with cautious wonder, as if she was stepping into a dream she'd only heard stories about. She landed gently on the deck, her boots making a soft metallic sound. Eli stood frozen. She looked young, maybe just a little younger than him, but clearly not human. Her skin shimmered like polished stone, and faint patterns glowed on her arms, shifting like living ink. She raised her hand in a gesture that looked rehearsed, like she had practiced it in front of a mirror. Her voice sounded melodic and unsure when she spoke. "Human Eli Turner," she said, mispronouncing his last name just slightly. "I have come to ask for marriage." Eli blinked. "Huh." The alien girl stood completely still, waiting for his reaction. Her expression didn't change, but her fingers tightened nervously. It hit Eli suddenly that she thought she was doing something normal. He couldn't help it, he laughed. Not a mocking laugh, but a startled one, the kind that escaped without permission. The girl jumped a little, surprised by the sound. "I'm sorry," Eli said quickly, raising his hands in apology. "I'm not laughing at you, I just didn't expect that." She tilted her head, confused. "My studies indicated that this is the correct greeting between two beings who wish to form positive relations." Eli stared at her. "Marriage is not really a greeting." Her cheeks glowed with a faint blush-like light. "I might have misunderstood your customs." He tried not to smile too much. She looked embarrassed, and he didn't want to make it worse. "Maybe tell me your name first," he suggested gently. She nodded quickly, as if grateful for guidance. "I am of the people." Her voice became softer. "I traveled far to meet a human. I studied your stories, your signs, your signals. I wanted to come with respect." Eli felt his heartbeat slow. She wasn't dangerous. She wasn't threatening. She was sincere, awkward but sincere, and lonely maybe. "Well," he said, "you definitely made an entrance." She blinked again. "Entrance. It means you arrived in a memorable way." A small, uncertain smile formed on her lips. It made her seem more human than alien. The night breeze carried a gentle scent around them, metal, pine trees, and something faintly sweet from her glowing hair. Eli realized he wasn't scared anymore. He was curious. She didn't seem like a soldier or a scout. She seemed like a girl who tried very hard to do something right and got it wrong in the most harmless way. "So," Eli said, leaning on the railing again, "why did you come here? Why Earth?" Looked up at the stars, her eyes reflecting their light. "Because I wanted to understand your people, and I wanted someone to understand me." Her voice was delicate, almost trembling. The next morning, Eli returned to the observation deck, hopping to see the glow that had fallen from the sky the night before. And there she was, sitting cross-legged on the platform, her eyes tracing the horizon. The faint light in her skin flickered as if she were breathing in the sun. Her silver hair caught the early light, scattering tiny reflections like fireflies. Eli approached slowly, unsure how to start. "Good morning," he said, his voice gentle. Turned her head and tilted it in a way that made Eli's heart skip. "Good morning, human Eli. You came back." "I did," he replied. "I wanted to know more about you." Her eyes sparkled, a mix of curiosity and shyness. "I want to know about you too. Everything. Your people, your world, your skis." For hours, they sat together, sharing small stories. Eli talked about the way rain smelled on dry ground, how his grandmother taught him to cook simple meals, and why humans celebrated birthdays. Listened carefully, her head tilting slightly with each word. Sometimes she would reach out, lightly touching a leaf or a metal railing, as if testing whether the stories were real. Then it was her turn. She explained her world, a ship-bound civilization where emotions were controlled and schedules ruled every day. Laughter was permitted only as a form of study. Families were functional, not sentimental. The idea of free choice in relationships was foreign to her, yet she had come here against everything she knew to meet a human. Eli found himself fascinated. "So you risked a lot to be here." "Yes," she said simply. Her voice had a quiet weight to it, and her glow dimmed slightly, revealing vulnerability. "I wanted to see if humans could feel deeply, if you could care without orders, if you could laugh and cry for reasons other than survival." He smiled, touched by her honesty. "We do, sometimes too much. Sometimes it makes life messy, but it also makes it beautiful." Her cheeks lit faintly, and for the first time she laughed, a soft, melodic sound, unlike any human laugh he had ever heard. It felt like sunlight spilling over ice. As the morning faded into afternoon, Eli noticed a change. His initial nervousness had shifted into quiet trust. She didn't fidget or look away. She asked questions about the simplest things: why humans liked to sing in the shower, why people told stories of old battles, why even strangers helped one another. Her curiosity was endless, and each answer seemed to brighten her glow, like learning lit a tiny star inside her. Then came a moment of silence. They sat side by side, watching the clouds drift across the blue sky. Eli felt an unexpected warmth in his chest. It was not fear, not excitement. Something deeper, quieter, that settled into him like it had always belonged there. Turned toward him. "Eli, do you think I understand humans yet?" He thought for a moment. "You're learning fast, maybe faster than most of us do." Her violet eyes softened, and she spoke almost in a whisper. "I came here thinking marriage would be a greeting, a way to start friendship. But now I am not sure it is just that. I feel more, something I did not expect." Eli's breath caught. He realized that her awkward proposal had been a door to something neither of them could have predicted. The idea of marriage, once strange and funny, had grown into something unspoken, something tender. For a long moment, neither spoke. The breeze carried the scent of metal, pine, and distant smoke. Their fingers brushed briefly, unintentional, electric, fleeting. His cheeks glowed softly, as if the air around her had caught fire. "I do not know what this is," she admitted quietly, looking down at her hands. "But I want to understand it, with you." Eli's chest tightened with emotion. He wanted to reassure her, to promise her the world, but all he could do was nod. "We'll figure it out together," he said. "No rush, no rules, just together." Smiled, her light brightening as if approving the promise. And in that moment, Eli realized something profound. What had started as a strange, awkward meeting might just turn into a bond neither of them had imagined. Above them, the sun climbed higher, scattering golden light across the observation deck. A day of learning, laughter, and quiet trust had begun. And for Eli, it was the start of something extraordinary. Days passed, and Eli and grew more comfortable with each other. They explored the woods near the observation deck, pointing out small wonders, like the way a stream curved around a rock or the delicate veins on a leaf. Marveled at everything, asking questions Eli had never considered. "Why do humans laugh when things fall?" she asked one morning, giggling at a squirrel that tumbled into the water. Eli smiled, feeling a warmth he had never noticed before. "Because life is messy sometimes, but laughter makes it easier to handle." For a while, it felt like no one existed but them. But the world had noticed arrival. Signals from her glowing body had spread far beyond the forest, triggering alarms at research centers, media stations, and government agencies. By the third day, drones hovered above the trees, cameras scanning, voices crackling through loudspeakers, demanding she identify herself. Froze when the first drone appeared. Her body flickered, dimming as though afraid. She looked at Eli with wide, panicked eyes. "Human Eli, they know I am here. They will take me away." Eli felt a chill. He had anticipated curiosity, maybe even a few news crews, but this was different. These were armed drones searching with precision. "They're not trying to hurt you," he said quickly, though even he wasn't sure. "But I won't let them just take you, not without choice." She hesitated, then whispered, "I came to learn your ways, not to cause trouble. I do not want my presence to bring fear or harm." Eli shook his head. "You haven't caused harm, you've only shown me something unexpected." His voice softened. "And I'm not going to let them decide what happens to you." With careful planning, they retreated to an old cabin Eli used for hiking trips. It was small and hidden beneath the forest canopy, with walls thick enough to block drones' sensors. Inside paced nervously. "Eli, my people, they will be angry. They will demand my return." He leaned against the doorframe, watching her. "And if they do, then I will have to go. I do not belong here permanently, but I do not want to leave you either." Her voice trembled and her glow pulsed like a heartbeat. Eli approached slowly. "You're not just a visitor, you're a friend, and something more, something I can't quite name yet. I can't tell you what will happen, but I can promise that whatever choice you make, it will be yours, not theirs." Tears, or the closest thing to them for her species, welled in her eyes. She had never been offered freedom like this before. Her life had always been dictated by rules, schedules, and expectations. And now, a human trusted her with a choice, not a command. "I do not know if my feelings are what humans call friendship or something else entirely," she admitted. "But they are real. I cannot ignore them." Eli reached out, brushing his hand against hers lightly. "Then don't ignore them, explore them with me." A faint smile crossed her face, fragile but determined. She nodded. Together. That evening they watched the sunset from the cabin's small porch. The sky was painted with colors neither of them could name, tilted her head, absorbing every hue, every shift of light. "Your world, it is alive in ways my people never described. I see why humans protect it. I see why you feel so deeply about it." Eli felt something swell inside him, a mix of pride, wonder, and an unspoken bond forming between them. He realized that presence had changed him. He wasn't just curious anymore, he was invested. He wanted to protect her, learn from her, and share life with her in ways he had never imagined. Above them, the forest seemed to hold its breath. The drones hovered on the edge of detection, and the world waited. But inside the cabin, two beings from different worlds discovered something rare: trust, connection, and the first quiet sparks of love that neither of them had expected. Rested her head lightly on the railing, watching the sun dip lower. "Eli, I thought this would be a simple visit, a study, a greeting, but now I think my heart belongs somewhere else." Eli smiled gently, understanding the depth of her words without her needing to explain further. "Then let it belong here if it wants to." And for a moment, nothing else mattered, neither rules nor warnings, neither expectations nor danger. Only them learning each other, discovering a bond that could withstand worlds. The forest was quieter than usual that morning, but Eli could sense the tension in the air. Birds stayed hidden in the treetops, and even the wind whispered through the leaves with restraint. Its glow, which usually pulsed gently, flickered nervously as they walked along a narrow path toward a hidden ridge. "They are still searching," she whispered, her voice low. "My people, they will not stop until I return. They will not understand my choice." Eli nodded, keeping a careful eye on the horizon. "Then we stay hidden, but we don't run out of fear. We move smartly." He could feel the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders, heavier than any repair job he had ever handled. Protecting her was no longer just a duty, it had become personal. They reached a small clearing, sunlight spilling through the branches, painting golden patterns on the forest floor. Sat down cautiously, her hands hovering above the ground as if touching it might anchor her to reality. "Eli, I am frightened. I have never felt this way before. Not with my people, not with my duties, not with anyone. But I want to stay, with you." Eli crouched beside her, careful not to crowd her. "I understand," he said, "and I feel the same, but it's okay to be scared. It means you're alive. It means this matters." For the first time, reached for his hand without hesitation. Her fingers were cool, tingling with faint light, and the touch sent warmth through Eli's chest. "You make me feel safe, and yet I feel everything else too. I feel longing, worry, and something I cannot name." "You're feeling love," Eli said quietly, almost to himself. It's not something your studies can teach, but it's real. She tilted her head, considering him. Love, is it meant to feel like this? Yes, he said, meeting her gaze. It can be scary. It can make you want to protect someone while also trusting them completely. It makes life heavier and brighter. Her eyes glimmered, and she smiled softly, a fragile, hopeful expression that made Eli's heart ache with tenderness. They stayed there for a long while, sharing the quiet and each other's presence, as if the world beyond the forest did not exist. But the peace did not last. A distant hum reached their ears, the unmistakable sound of drones scanning the area. They were close now, maybe only minutes away. Glow spiked, trembling in panic. Eli, they are here, we must move. Eli grabbed her hand firmly, grounding her. Stay calm, follow me. They ran through winding paths, weaving between trees and leaping over fallen branches. Adapted quickly, her alien agility making her faster and lighter than any human could be. But she was still learning about Earth's terrain, and several times she stumbled, only to be steadied by Eli's steady grip. At a narrow ridge, they paused to catch their breath. Below, a small river curved through the valley, perfect for hiding. We can cross there, Eli whispered. The water will block their sensors. Hesitated, fear flickering across her features. What if they capture me? You're not alone, Eli said firmly. I won't let them. I trust you, and I hope you trust me too. Her hands gripped his, and in that moment the forest seemed to breathe with them. The fear was still there, but it was joined by something stronger. Trust, connection, and the quiet thrill of fighting for something that truly mattered. Together they leapt down to the riverbank, the water cold but welcoming. Glow reflected in the rippling surface, making her appear like a living star fallen from the sky. For the first time since her arrival, she laughed, not nervously but fully, the sound mingling with the river's murmur. Eli smiled at her, feeling the same joy bubble within him. We'll be okay, he said, more to himself than to her. We'll find a way to face this together. And in that moment, amidst shadows, fear, and uncertainty, a bond stronger than any danger formed between them. Trust had been tested, and love had begun to root, deep and unexpected, ready to grow in the of places. The cabin smelled faintly of wood smoke and damp earth, a comforting scent that contrasted with the chaos outside. Eli sat on the edge of the small bed, watching as she carefully traced patterns on the floor with her fingers, her glow pulsing softly with each movement. She had grown quieter over the past few days, thoughtful and tense, as if the weight of two worlds rested on her shoulders. Eli wanted to speak, but words felt fragile compared to the tension in the room. Finally broke the silence, her voice barely above a whisper. Eli, do you ever wonder why some connections happen, without logic, without purpose, yet they feel necessary? He leaned back, considering her question. I think that's what humans call fate, or maybe love. Sometimes it appears when you least expect it, and it's stronger than any reason or plan. Her violet eyes glimmered with uncertainty. I came here thinking a marriage proposal was simply a formality, a way to greet and observe humans. Now, I am not so sure. I feel things I cannot name. I feel warmth, fear, longing, and joy all at once. It is overwhelming. Eli rose and knelt beside her. Those feelings are called emotions. They are messy, unpredictable, but they are proof that you are alive and that you care. It's okay to feel them. It's okay to explore them. You don't have to understand everything right now. She let out a soft sigh, leaning closer. You make it sound simple, but my people, they measure everything. They judge choices by outcomes, not by what feels right. Here, I do not know what is right or wrong. I only know that I want to be with you. Yet I am unsure if that is allowed, if it is proper, if it is wise. Eli reached for her hand, letting their fingers intertwine. Her skin was warm now, tinged with the soft glow that signaled calm. Love is not about rules. It's not about approval or tradition. It's about trust and care. If you feel it, if your heart chooses it, then it is real. You don't need anyone else to decide for you. For a moment, she just stared at him, eyes wide, pupils reflecting the faint moonlight streaming through the window. Slowly, a small, fragile smile formed. It was the kind of smile that held hope and fear at the same time. Eli, if I choose to trust this feeling, will you accept me as I am? With my mistakes, my fears, my alien ways. Eli's chest tightened. He had thought about this moment ever since she first appeared in the light above the deck. "I already do," he said quietly. "I accept everything about you. I accept the unknown, the differences, the mysteries. I accept you." Her glow brightened slightly and her hand squeezed his. "Then I will try. I will let my heart lead me for the first time in my life with you." Eli smiled softly, feeling an unfamiliar warmth that spread through his chest. "We'll discover this together," he promised. "Step by step, no rush, no expectations, just us." Rested her head against his shoulder. For the first time since arriving on Earth, she felt truly understood. She felt safe. She felt seen. She allowed herself to breathe, to let the emotions she had kept locked away bloom like a hidden flower. Outside, the wind rustled through the trees, carrying the distant hum of drones far enough to be irrelevant. Inside, the cabin was a sanctuary, a place where two hearts from different worlds began to learn what it meant to trust and to care deeply. Eli wrapped an arm around her gently, and she leaned into him, letting her glow pulse steadily. There were no words needed. Their silence spoke louder than explanations. They had faced fear, uncertainty, and the unknown together, and through it all, something real, tender, and unbreakable had begun to grow. As night deepened, whispered softly, her voice almost a song, "I did not expect to find this. I did not expect to feel like this. But now I am glad I came." Eli pressed his forehead to hers. "I'm glad you came too, more than you know." And in that quiet, moonlit cabin, the first seeds of love rooted themselves firmly, promising a bond neither species nor distance could easily undo. The next morning, the forest was alive with movement. Birds called overhead, leaves rustled, and a soft mist lingered above the ground. Eli and had spent the night talking quietly, sharing small stories and dreams of the future. For a brief moment, it had felt like the world outside did not exist. But that illusion shattered quickly when distant lights flickered through the trees. Ships, hovering low, sending beams that cut through the mist. "They have come," whispered, her voice trembling yet calm. Her glow brightened and dimmed in anxious waves. "My people, they will not leave without me. And this connection we share, they do not understand." Eli took her hand firmly, letting his grip ground both of them. "Then we face them together." He had no plan for what would happen, but he knew one thing: he would not let her be taken without choice. Not now, not ever. They moved through the forest carefully, each step calculated to avoid detection. Its agility allowed her to navigate the thick undergrowth with ease, but she still paused frequently, watching the approaching lights with sharp vigilance. "They will demand I return," she said, "and they will not accept my feelings as valid." Eli squeezed her hand. "Then we make them understand, if not with words, then with what we've built here. They'll see it in us." Eventually, they reached a cliff that overlooked a valley, the ships hovering below. From their vantage points, people looked massive and imposing, their shapes alien yet structured. She inhaled sharply. "I must speak to them, but not as a subject, as someone who chooses her own path." Eli nodded. "Then I'll be beside you." Stepped forward, her glow flaring brightly, illuminating both of them. The ships responded immediately, beams scanning, alarms pulsing. A deep, resonant voice echoed through the valley. "You are required to return. Resistance is unacceptable." She squared her shoulders. "I choose to remain here, not out of defiance, but because I have learned to feel. I have learned to understand. I have chosen my own path." The voice hesitated, the hum of the ships vibrating in the air. "Your path endangers relations. You are instructed to comply." "I am not an object," said firmly, her violet eyes blazing. "I am a being capable of choice, and I choose this path with him." She gestured to Eli, whose presence radiated calm determination. "This human has shown me kindness, trust, and understanding. My heart belongs here." The ships hovered silently for a long moment. Then slowly the lights dimmed. The hum softened. Eli watched in awe as the aliens, leaving only the mist and the gentle forest around them. Its glow settled into a steady, warm rhythm. Eli exhaled, relief and pride flooding him. "You did it," he whispered. "No," she corrected softly. "We did it together." Eli took her hand and held it to his chest. The steady pulse of her light mirrored the rhythm of his heartbeat. "I never thought a simple meeting would lead here," he admitted, smiling. From a strange proposal to this. Laughed softly, a melodic sound that made the forest around them feel alive. I came thinking this would be a study, a curiosity, a greeting, and instead I found trust, I found care, I found love. Eli brushed a strand of her silver hair from her face. I feel the same way, and I promise you we'll face whatever comes next together. She rested her head against his shoulder, the two of them standing on the cliff as the wind stirred around them. Below, the valley was empty now, safe once more. And above, the first rays of sunlight broke through the mist, scattering golden light across the forest floor. For the first time, both human and alien could see clearly. The world outside was still vast and unpredictable, but in that moment nothing else mattered. Their choice had been made. Their bond had been tested, and through trust, courage, and mutual understanding, something extraordinary had taken root. As they stood together, watching the morning light spread, Eli realized that this unexpected love was more than a bond between two beings. It was a bridge between worlds, a testament to the power of trust, the beauty of choice, and the profound depth of connection. And in that quiet moment, neither human nor alien questioned what came next. They simply held on to each other, letting the sunrise mark the beginning of their shared journey. The days that followed were quieter, yet charged with an unspoken energy. Eli moved through the forest together, exploring hidden paths, listening to the whispers of trees, and discovering small wonders that seemed mundane to the world but extraordinary in each other's company. Each step they took strengthened a bond neither had anticipated, a connection deeper than curiosity or duty. One evening they reached a hill overlooking a river that sparkled with the reflection of twin moons. Paused, her glowing skin softening to a gentle hue. She turned to Eli, her violet eyes full of unspoken emotion. I never thought a meeting would change so much. I came to learn, and instead I discovered myself. Eli took her hands in his, warmth radiating from their touch. You discovered something more than yourself. You discovered love, and we discovered it together. Her glow pulsed brighter as she leaned closer. I feel it. I feel it in ways I never imagined possible. Your world, your presence, it has shown me something my studies never could, and I do not want to let go of this feeling. Eli smiled softly, brushing a hand across her cheek. You don't have to. I'll be here always. They stood in silence, letting the twin moons cast silver light over them. In that quiet, Eli realized how strange and wonderful their journey had been. A playful, awkward proposal, meant as a joke or experiment, had turned into something neither of them could have foreseen. What had started as curiosity blossomed into trust, then into care, and finally into love. His voice broke the silence. Eli, there is one thing I want to do, a human tradition if you agree. Eli raised an eyebrow, intrigued. What is it? She smiled, faint and hopeful. Marriage, but not as a formality or a study or an experiment. I want it to be real, a choice between us freely given. Eli's chest tightened, and for a moment he simply held her hands, letting the words sink in. Yes, he whispered. Yes, I will, not because of obligation or curiosity or expectation, because I love you, and I choose you. Her glow brightened, shimmering with joy and relief. She pressed her forehead to his, and for a long moment they just stood there, two beings from different worlds, united by trust and courage. The forest around them seemed to lean closer, the wind gentle, carrying the scent of earth, water, and life itself. In the following days, they prepared quietly, not for ceremony, not for witnesses, but for themselves. Every step of the way was chosen, deliberate, and meaningful. Eli showed her human customs, simple yet powerful gestures of commitment, holding hands, sharing meals, exchanging promises whispered into the quiet night. Shared parts of her world, the glowing lights of her body expressing emotion, warmth, and intent in ways words could never capture. When the moment came to declare their bond, it was just the two of them under the largest tree in the forest. The bark glimmered faintly in the moonlight, and the river below sang softly. Its glow wrapped around them both, a living aura of trust and devotion. I promise, Eli said, his voice steady but full of emotion, to stand by you, to protect you, to learn with you, and to love you for as long as we live. Its glow pulsed like a heartbeat, her voice luminous and resonant. And I promise to be with you, to trust you, to share my world and my heart. You have taught me to feel, and now I choose to feel everything with you." A warm light enveloped them, and in that simple, profound moment, nothing else existed but their love. The stars above seemed to shine brighter, as if celebrating the union of human and alien, two souls who had crossed worlds to find each other. Eli laughed softly, the sound full of joy and wonder. "I never thought a light-hearted proposal would lead here." Smiled, her glow radiant. "Neither did I, but now it feels like it was meant to be. Not a duty, not a study, but love, pure, unbound, and ours." They embraced, feeling the warmth, the heartbeat, the trust that had grown between them. The forest, the sky, and the river bore witness to a love that transcended planets, species, and expectations. And in that quiet, starlit night, Eli understood something neither had anticipated when the story began. Sometimes, what starts as a playful idea can become the most profound connection in existence. A light-hearted proposal had grown into deep, unexpected love, a love that would carry them across worlds and into a future they would face together, hand in hand, heart to heart. The universe, vast and unknowable, had gifted them this moment, and they held on to it, knowing they had found something rare, precious, and eternal.